Chapter 30. Nasir Canby had visited the hospital every day since his wife had been admitted. This meant he had missed 3 lunchtime shifts at the restaurant where he worked as a porter. He'd always hoped he would get promoted to a waiter's job or even a shift manager, but his English wasn't good enough, so he had to work back of house, washing, peeling, and doing all the mundane kitchen stuff. But with Pinky's help, he'd still be able to just make the late shift from 7 in the evening until 1 in the morning. Nasir was particularly impressed by Dr. Begum's, who seemed to take special care of his wife, and it helped enormously that she spoke their language. He was also impressed by her manner and how modestly she dressed, despite her Western education and profession. He listened to her and took note when she stressed to him how important it was that his wife had home support once she left the hospital. But Nasir did not know that it was Dr. Begum who his wife had confided in about Abby. Dr. Naz Begum had been patient with Nasir, resisting calling social services when she realised that she had a chance of talking him round. But it was hard to know what was the best. She heard awful stories of children forced into overseas marriages through a barrister friend of hers. She knew the situation could end badly. She wanted Abby back, even though she'd never met her. It was over 14 years since she had been Abby's age, but she remembered only too well what it was like to be a young and hopeful. Dr. Begum was lucky. Her parents were responsibly wealthy and educated, so there'd always be no more options in life, and they'd wanted the best for her too. But she understood that many forced marriages were about favours, promises and money. She wasn't quick to judge Mr. Canby. She was gaining his trust and respect, and she hoped it would pay off soon, because she'd sworn to his wife that she'd do something and she couldn't put it off for much longer. When Nasir returned to the ward following his chat with Shekhar, Dr. Begum was waiting to speak with him. She took him to one side and politely informed him that social services and the school had concerns over the children, that they thought he might need some help. She was baiting him, leading him down a path. She didn't mention Abby, because within minutes he was wondering out loud about bringing his daughter home to help so that he didn't have to keep taking time off work. Yes, you could bring her back, she calmly suggested, as if the thought had never occurred to her. I think that would be a sensible solution. Nasir felt so much better. Of course he should bring Abby back, just until his wife was better. But then he thought of his brother. Surely Taj would understand. He would make him understand. For once, he had to put his own wife and children first. The following morning, Nasir woke up early to make the call to his brother Taj, without the children interrupting. He had spent the night agonizing about the best way to put the news to his brother. His tongue was all tied up, his stomach in knots, his heart in his mouth. He owed so much to his brother. He hated the idea of going against his wishes. As he picked up the phone, his palms felt hot and sweaty. He dialed the number. His mouth was so dry, he almost wished he wouldn't be able to get through to Taj. But after the long beeps, the line was connected, and he heard his brother's voice. I'm worried about Janie. I can't keep working while she is sick. I need Abby back home, he blurted out. She is home. This is her home now, Taj insisted. I can't manage without her, Taj. I can't go to work because I have to look after the kids. I have to leave them on my own. Well, my brother, it's not like the village. There's no one to look out for them. You can't just do that here. I have no choice, and if our prayers are answered, it will be until Janie is better. Before you say no again, understand this, Taj. People here will call the police if Abby does not return. I know that for certain. We will find a way to send her back soon without any of these problems. For now, brother, I am scared. Nasir found himself holding back the tears. Taj knew his brother couldn't cope, not with the worry of the police and Nasir needing to work to pay for the bills. But he thought to himself that if Pinky had been brought up correctly, she should be able to look after the children. what with Abby crying and refusing to eat, and Pinky not even being able to look after the family. All of this proved his brother was not strict enough, and he had spoiled them. The airline ticket is going to be expensive. A complete waste of money, Taj argued, but Nasir stayed silent. He wouldn't give away of this time. Preparations needed to be made soon. Nasir borrowed the money for the plane ticket from Shekhar, who was happy to help, relieved and grateful that Nasir had finally seen sense. A flight was booked for the following Saturday afternoon. When she heard the news, Abby's mum immediately showed signs of recovery. She sat up, looked brighter, and even managed to eat a little solid food. Dr. Begum could see a notable difference in her patient. The children were not told what was going on during this whole time. They had been ignored throughout and of course thought the worst, that their mother was dying, so they were doubly relieved to hear the news that their sister would soon be returning to their real home.